Okay, so before we start our storyboard lesson, I'm gonna demo some tools right here that we use that's kind of important on how we proceed from drawing, and we can continue on without doing a lot of work. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a new screen right here. All right, so, and I will turn on my screencast real quick. And grease pencil tool, right? Zoom fit. And that's all explained later, okay? So I will change my pen, and of course when you use grease pencil 2D animation, you get your two layers right there and your fill and background if you want them separate. All right, you do want them separate. For storyboard, not really, because you're just doing single panels. All right, so I'm gonna change my pen to this one right here, which gives it like imperfect lines, okay? So let's take a look at these tools right here. So I'm gonna draw a basic shape right here. Okay, so let's say we have like this character right here. Okay, make sure those are kind of close outline. And then he's probably still sleepy. Not really. Okay, and let's give him a little texture opportunity there. All right, so that's our character right there. All right, so now what we can do here is when we do the fill, go to my fill brush, right? I'm using the same one, all right, because this is a storyboard lesson. So I'm on the line layer, all right? I'm gonna go to my solid stroke here, which is the solid fill color. And if you don't know what these things are, go to our previous lessons in grease pencil regarding coloring. All right, so now I'm going to just fill this with the gray color. There it is, okay? So what happens is that when I do my fill, it's trying to fill it on top of the outline, okay? And it eats away on the outline right there, as you can see right there. So I'm gonna do Control Z. If you turn this on, this basically gives it, it performs the action at the back of the outline. All right, so if I click on this one, it kept all the outline up front. Of course, there's one right there. You can leak that a bit if you want to, but I think we're good for now. You can zoom in. Okay, I can zoom in and click that if I want to. It's going to fill all this. Zoom fit. Okay, especially useful for storyboarding because you just want to kind of highlight your character separate from the background. There it is. So that button right there, that tool, is just to do the action behind the outline. However, let's say we go back to our drawing here. Draw brush. I'm going to go to solid stroke. Okay. And I want to, let's say, add eyebrows to this guy. Okay, so what's going to happen is when I draw, it doesn't work because it's still trying to draw behind because that thing is on, right? So let me click undo. So what I can do is turn off that tool. Now I can draw on top or fill on top. So now I can add the eyebrow. All right, so that makes sense? Okay, so again, go behind or go front. Okay, so let's say this is my storyboard panel 1. I need to go to panel 2 where this guy kind of gets angry. Just kind of change the eyebrow like so and frown them out a little bit. Okay, so what we can do is this, and you don't want to do your fill really when you're not done with all your storyboard, you know, anyway, but I don't want to redraw the entire thing. All right, so one thing you can do is when you go to edit, you can copy and paste this one selecting all the curves from our previous lesson. All right. However, there's another tool here where you can just keep drawing and add to the existing drawing. Okay, so that tool is this one right here. It looks like a snowflake. Okay, and this one basically, if you this is turned on, when I go to, let's say, frame 10, which is our next panel, let's say, okay, and I'm on the active layer lines, what's going to happen is that since frame 10 is blank, I can just go here and inherit all this drawing. So let's say if I added this, let's say we added some ear for some reason. Okay, see that it's keyed already. So from frame 1, then I go to frame 10, all that stuff was added. Okay, this drawing is kept. Normally in Grease Pencil or any animation, you get a new page. So if I have that thing off, right, and I go to frame 20, guess what? Let's say I want to add, well, I want to grow those ears. You see it? There's nothing on 20 other than the ears because I turned it off. Okay, so let me click undo. All right, so here, and I'm gonna undo the ears also because we didn't mean to put those in there, just for demo purpose, right? Okay, let me click undo as well because I think, there you go, frame 10. I'm gonna turn it on. So I'm gonna go erase. Okay, let me erase the eyebrows. Okay, it's on, so that means I got this entire drawing still active. Okay, oops. Eraser soft. Am I erasing? Yeah, because the outline is there. But let's say we're just gonna draw the eyebrow that I talk about, where we're gonna make it look like this guy is now angry. Okay, so if I go back and forth, there we go. Yeah, do your fill after when you're done with your storyboard. Okay, otherwise it will interfere with anything that you want to do. Or be smart, not like what I did. Do all your fills on a separate layer, then you don't have to worry about it getting erased. Okay. All right, so there it is. So that's the tool for. Okay, let me just go here. There we go. It's okay. For some reason that one didn't want to cooperate. Okay, so frame 1, frame 10. Okay, so those two tools. One is to move everything in the back or front. Okay, and this one right here on the active layer copies the previous drawing and you can add to it. All right. Today's lesson, we're going to do storyboard using Grease Pencil, and let's get started. So before you start, we want to make sure that you have at least the Grease Pencil tools on in your add-on. They're not on by default, and I'm using 292, by the way, of Grease Pencil. Okay, this is 292 version. And let's go edit, preferences right here. On add-ons, make sure you type in Grease right here. I just type in GR and then it pops up. Grease Pencil tools, put a check mark if it's not already on. That way when we turn on our sidebar, which is keyboard shortcut N, you get this option right here, and then it's just kind of simple. You can box deform, straight stroke, fix them. And this is what I like, zoom 1-to-1 and zoom fit. So I don't have to keep kind of zooming in right here. I can just click those and it does the job. All right. So for, let's say, straight stroke, I do something like a curve like that and I click on straight stroke, it just kind of fixes it. All right. So if I'm, let's say, you know, just trying to kind of get, you know, it won't work on those, but if it's slightly curved, you want to get it straight, there it is. Another thing is if you can do a box deform, okay, you get 4 points there, and then you can manipulate this kind of like so, and there you go. You know, it's there. You might not be might be faster for you to do those manually, but like I said, zoom and zoom fit is what I use most of the time, so I don't have to keep kind of zooming out just to show everything. All right, so let's get started here. I'm going to go with File, New, 2D Animation. The reason why we're using 2D animation is that I don't have to, there you go, zoom fit, all right? So that I don't have to build my coloring and layers. There's some pre-made ones, right? So let me just turn on screencaster real quick. All right, what I mean by that is down here with our materials, you get solid stroke in black and white, I mean red already, and then you have a gray solid dot stroke. We're probably not going to be using that a lot, but it's there. Okay, another thing, if I go here while the stroke is selected, make sure you're always on stroke when you're dealing with grease pencil, because if you select let's say camera, which is an object, then you lose all the functionality later on. You can't draw, you can't do any of that stuff. So make sure you're in stroke. So that's why you see all this parameters right here. But if we go here to the grease pencil tab, we get at least 2 layers predefined. One is designed for lines and then fills. So very basic stuff, right? So if we're gonna do our storyboard, you're just gonna do it all here on the screen, and then we move our timeline. Let's say, just to simplify, we can go every 10 frames. Okay, let's say you need 10 drawings to complete your storyboard. You need 20 drawings. That's totally up to you, because when the timeline moves, it jumps to those. So if you want to just kind of record each one, or you know, you get your kind of sense of timing, then you can move it here. You know, let's say from frame 1 to frame 20 needs to be 30 frames long, then you can just move that key to 30 frames. It's not a big deal. Okay, so first things first is we got to set up our layer so that we have a background. Okay, our background, and we're going to put 2 of those so that in case you need to use anything that kind of shows you camera movements and whatnot, you know, those are usually guided by arrows and whatnot. So I'm going to add right here, plus sign, add another layer. We're going to call this one background. I'm just going to put BG. All right, and I'm going to call it frame, BG frame for the storyboard. Okay, and we'll explain what that is later. Okay, we're going to add another safety layer right there, and this is for actions and whatnot. So I'm going to put action right here. All right, so the way this works is whatever's on top, that's on the very front layer. So we want for sure our background frame selected. Click on the positional down arrow right here and make sure that goes to the bottom. Okay, and then the action one, you want to be on top of the frame. So we're going to go like so. Fills, we might need that. We might actually use it, but since we're just doing storyboard, you can do your fills using just the lines layer only. Okay, so let's go to our background first. We're going to create the frame, and I'm not going to define this with scientific numbers or, you know, precise numbers. This will just be your framing. So if you're going with wide aspect ratio, or you know, like the Snyder cut, which is a 4:3 aspect ratio, it's totally up to you. Okay, so I'm going to change my pen right here. I'm going to go with this ink, where it's, you know, it has a little bit kind of like a imperfection, which is kind of like very hand-drawn looking. Okay, I'm going to click undo. What I'll do is select my box or my square tool right here, and I'm in the background frame. So when I define this like so, this will be the framing. Okay, it's a little about probably 16 by 8 right there. Okay, not entirely 16 by 9. And I've defined that thing. It's a little bit more. I mean, it's, you know, if you want to be very precise, you can measure this, but that's fine for our demo, right? I'm going to click return or enter after that to end that one. So since this was made in frame 1, it will stay here for the duration of our storyboard regardless, because after this one I'm going to switch to lines right here, okay, and then I can draw on top. Let's say I'm going to switch to my draw pen right there. Okay, I'm going to go like so, and then let's say I fill that with the stroke. I'm in solid fill and I put it behind. Okay, when I go to, let's say, frame 10 and I start drawing another one, all right, guess what? That frame, since it's on a different layer, will always stay there. Okay, kind of like a background. If I wanted like a mountain background, kind of going like that, and then I'm in the background and I don't want it to disappear, it's on my animate, you want to put that on a background layer or a different layer, and make sure you're on frame 1 when you do it, so it's there for the duration after that frame. Okay, so I'm going to click and do here, and let's get started. So what do we need for our storyboard? What kind of quality we're looking for? Stick figures are always welcome, okay, if that's your drawing ability. We're just going for a sense of timing here and camera blocking. Okay, so there's of course lessons on how to block your camera, how to frame your camera, composition and all that, but for now we're just going for a sense of timing and a little bit of blocking. Who's showing on the camera? If there's two characters, where's the other character? I mean, do we see what we're supposed to see in your framing? Okay, so, but since this is just how to kind of get started on a storyboard, we're not going to go specific to, you know, dynamic camera angles or anything like that. We're just getting a sense of timing for your animation. So your animation, from previous example, I mean from homework, I think we did mention 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, so it's 24 frames a second and we're animating in twos, right? So if it's 20 seconds long, then that's 480 frames. Okay, if it's 10 seconds long, 24 frames, you would change this to 240. Okay, so this is a 10-second animation, so I'm going to start boarding a 10-second animation. There we go, 240. And press enter. Okay, so now we can use the entire timeline for that one. Okay, and the way we would do it, it's like the panel. So there's several things in Storyboard where you can put the panel, right? So for us, we can number these things, you know, using action right here. So if I go to action, right, and that's my panel 1 right here, I can put 0, 1 right here. Oh, sorry, yep. Okay, undo. 0, 1 at the corner, saying that that's panel 1. Okay, not necessarily the frame number of panel 1. So when we do our drawing, so on and so forth. So let's start with our drawing right here. So that's on action. Okay, so let's say on action also I wanted like a kind of like a dolly forward with a camera, so I can do kind of like an action arrow right here. Okay, indicating there's a like a forward motion of the camera where your character gets bigger framing wise because you're dollying forward. Okay, so that's like an action right there, and you can be specific. You can actually write things down here too. So I'm gonna go to lines, okay, and then start drawing my character right here. Let's say we start with kind of like an establishing shot, and then we have our character. All right, so let me draw my character right here. So I'll probably start kind of slow, I mean from a certain distance right there. Okay, kind of emerging from its little hole, so I'm gonna go like that. Okay, and what I want to do when it comes to storyboard, so you can have like a sort of kind of shading, we're going to do the fill brush just on my character right here, okay, just so that we can get like like some form of depth and separation with our storyboard. All right, so it's kind of like so I'm going to go to my fill brush right here. I'm going to change my coloring to solid, which is the gray one, and I'm on the +1, right? Usually you would go negative right here for storyboard. It fills up the entire thing, but it will affect the entire screen right here. So I'm just going to go right there, and it's going to click on this area, okay, right there. So it's kind of like grade colored and whatnot. So that's my frame 1, okay, or panel 1, and then I can go to the next panel right here. So let's we go to frame 10 right there, go back to my drawing pen, go back to my solid stroke. All right, so now for panel 2, so I'm going to go to action. So we have to update this now, so this would be panel 2. Okay, so you can see it's onion skinning 1 frame, so you get to see the previous frame and whatnot. Okay, there it is. And on the action, my camera basically stops at this point, so I'm not drawing any more arrow. I'm going to go to lines right here, and then my character now should be a little bit like a close-up now. So I'm going to go like so, start drawing my character right here. Okay, so as you can see right there, it starts to onion skin the previous one. Okay, and then I want to close this outline though, even though it's off camera right there. So when I do my fill, it's going to fill it properly. Okay, and don't worry about going out of frame. Well, that won't be recorded, but it will not mess with the flow of your drawing. Okay, so that's panel number 2. I'm going to go to my solid fill. Okay, all right, so on my 02 panel right here, so let's say now on my third one, I'm going to go to frame 20 right here. So you can see it kept the frame. I'm going to go to action. I'm going to go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong brush. Undo. Drawing, solid stroke, 03. Okay, no nothing on the camera. I just want to show the it's extreme close-up now. Okay, but we just kind of cut to it. So I'm gonna go to lines right here. I'm gonna draw that. So now I'm gonna show a massive face right here. So probably okay, my character right here. So now you get to see the eyes right there. So I'm about to do like a point of view kind of drawing. Okay, just gonna close that right there for the ear. So I just want to get a little bit of that one. Let me go to my fill brush. Okay, and by the way, this is, I forgot to mention right here, I have this on, which does the fill in the back. Okay, I apologize for that. So if you were trying to follow along and it didn't work, that means right here, this is the fill brush right there. So I might have to edit this video and come back and do that. Okay, click that guy right there in that corner right there. So now we go to the point of view. Okay, I'm gonna go now to change that back to solid stroke. I'm gonna go to frame 30 here. We're now gonna see what my character is seeing. Okay, so we might see like a mountain, right? So I'm gonna go with line, solid stroke. All right, so I'll probably have kind of like a mountain like that. All right, okay, your looks a lot messy because onion skin is on. You always get to see the previous frame. Okay, so for this one, they're probably gonna be, you know, like a little 3 right here. Okay, and And we're probably going to see the hole right here. We're going to see all the other guys residents. Okay, so what I'll do is to highlight those, go to my solid fill, it's kind of, and the 3 right here. All right, so now let's take a look. Let's go with our framing right here. Oh yeah, and I forgot to do our action. That should be 04 panel. Oh, wrong brush again. I mean shades, color. 04. Okay. No action on the camera. Okay, so let's turn off our onion skin here. So just lower the opacity so that you don't see anything. All right, so up and down arrow. Up and down, that should do jump to each kind of framing. All right, so it started like that. All right, now this is what my character is seeing, point of view. Okay, and then so what's going to happen here is I want to keep all this drawing right here. However, I do want my lines right here to kind of come back because I want to keep using this one. So if I go to frame 40, I want to all my drawing on lines to kind of show up. Okay, so here's another option right here. Okay, what this will do is it will let me see if I can activate the tooltip for you. Probably not. It will keep all the drawing. So if I go to frame 40 right here, okay, let's make sure it's on frame 40. All right, on the active layer only. Okay, only active layer right here. I can start drawing, and then it kept the drawing from frame 30, carried it over to frame 40. Okay, so I don't have to redraw the mountain hill, the 3, and everything else. Okay. Okay, so that particular tool. So we'll kind of explain that more in detail past this lesson right here. Okay, or we'll have a lesson before. I'm going to edit and have a lesson before this one. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off now because I want to go back to my action and call this one 05, right? Okay, so let's take a look. I'm doing the up arrow, so frame 1. We got close, point of view, about to show that it's this person's point of view or this character's point of view. Probably kind of change this one because his eyes are kind of close right here. So let me do a little bit of a drawing right here. Or okay, is that frame 20? I'm on the line. Okay, I'm probably at the back of the all right, so I turned that off so that it doesn't keep drawing behind. Okay, all right, and then turn it back on right here, and then frame 5, there they are. So it kept all this drawing right here. Okay, so that's kind of like what we need to do for our storyboard. And this is all based on your audio, so you probably have studied your audio that you pick from homework 4 that you want to create and add to this. Okay, so I will edit this video. I will add all these tools right here at the beginning so that we got those covered. All right.